Hey everyone, this is Dr. Rob McDermott. Welcome. I'm excited to be here with you all today. I've really been looking forward to it. I'm glad you made it, made the time to be here too. This is important. It really is. Now, before we get started, if you could just help me out with a little tech check, go ahead and type the word yes into the chat box just to let me know you can hear my voice okay and you can see the first slide I have up with my picture on the top. If you guys can just go ahead, anyone, just let me know that you're hearing me. Just want to make sure. Mark, Anthony, Nick, Kathy, thanks everyone. Just wanted to make sure Dr. Rob is famous for his tech glitches. So, I wanted to make sure before I got started that, everybody could hear me okay. So, great, thanks. So we're going to dive right in because I know, like myself, you guys and gals have, set a time aside for this. So I'm going to get going right away and let's get started. Okay, so let me know as we go along if there's any problems. I'll kind of check in from time to time, see how we're doing, but it looks like everybody's got a good, strong signal. If you don't, for some reason, you get on the call and you're having a problem hearing me, best thing I can suggest, I don't know why this is, but exit and come back in. It's probably something on your side. So anyway, I'm really glad that you guys and gals are all here. So let's get started. So here's the honest truth. You're spending way too much money, effort, and time getting only a small fraction of the new patients you should be each month. You're missing out on tens of thousands of dollars every single month in new patients that are rightfully yours, and you don't even realize it. If you just did these two things, you'd never have to worry again about your marketing or where your next batch of new patients was coming from, ever. You could easily have your appointment book filled weeks, even months in advance, and every one of those slots filled with the exact type of patient and case fees you want. Imagine having as many pre-qualified PI, low back, neuropathy, weight loss, knee pain, diabetes, headache, whatever type of new patient you want calling you next week to set an appointment. How would that make you feel? Think about it for 10 seconds right now. I mean, what would it do for your life? What would that mean to you and your family? That's what we're going to be talking about here today. So for the next 60 minutes or so, put your cell phone aside and hang a do not disturb sign on the door. You're really going to want to pay attention to this. In fact, I have a really great gift for you at the end of today's webinar, and it's worth $949. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, but if you enjoy the webinar, you'll probably want it pretty badly because this just might be your opportunity to make up for all the lost time, all the wasted effort, all the unrewarded sacrifice, and finally have that life you always dreamed about when you were in chiropractic school. Because what I'm going to share with you today is truly an untapped new patient gold mine, tailor-made for us as chiropractors, and you've been missing out on it for years. It has nothing to do with Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, or any of the latest and greatest social media strategies that everybody seems to be promoting. It's not about direct mail, radio, spinal screenings, referrals, dinner workshops, Groupon ads. If anybody's still doing that, none of that stuff. So who's this webinar for? Well, it's for any doctor who's frustrated or been disappointed because you never seem to get the results promised with your marketing. It doesn't matter if it's your first week in practice and you're operating on a shoestring budget, or you've been operating multiple clinics with dozens of staff members for the past decade. Type yes if you've ever been frustrated with the results you've gotten with your marketing. Go ahead and do that. I just want to make sure, we're among friends here. So go ahead, do that. Type in yes if you've ever been frustrated with the results you've gotten with your marketing. And the crowd goes wild. I'm not laughing at you, you understand. Trust me, I probably was the worst at marketing before. I just wanted to make sure that, we were all in the right place today. So appreciate you guys, participating with that. So listen, I get it. 99% of you don't even want to be dealing with marketing and advertising at all. It's not why you became a doctor. I totally understand. All you want is a simple, dependable system that you can finally rely on once and for all to bring in the new patients you want every day. One where there's absolutely nothing for you to do as a doctor and there's nothing new for you or your staff to learn. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Not at all. I think that's the least you deserve. Listen, I'm just like you. I think it's really important for you to know that. I was just lucky enough that at a critical time in my career, I finally learned the right way to market my practice. But I had to learn it from people outside of our industry. It instantly turned everything around for me, and it's done the same for hundreds of docs across the country. It can do the same for you. Look at the results these docs are getting. After 25 years in practice, I've seen it all. Dr. Rob is the real deal. In the very first week, we've started up 8 new patients so far, and we've got another 2 coming in tomorrow. And I've only invested a measly $90. You can't beat it. That's from Dr. Stuart Swan in Davison, Michigan. Been with me since 2002. I've already had 5 new patients through the door so far this week. I'm so relieved to find out something that actually works like somebody promised. I never would have dreamed it could have been so cheap. Sorry, I got to move the slides along. And the way you do it, no contracts, no commitment. That's from Dr. Jeff Ermaka in Aurora, Nebraska. He's also the founder and CEO of Doctors Wealth Secrets. Many of you probably know him. Been a client of mine since 2002, 2003, back in the days when I teamed up with Ben Altadonna and just got started. Dr. Rob has gotten hundreds of new patients for my members month in and month out for years. Hands down, the cheapest and simplest way they've ever gotten new patients. I've known Dr. Rob for more than 13 years now, ever since I launched my own business helping chiropractors get new patients back in 2003. He's not one who seeks the spotlight. Instead, Dr. Rob prefers to operate behind the scenes, helping his members and private clients. He doesn't promote himself incessantly like so many others pride themselves on doing, but for the consultants, coaches, and doctors he chooses to work with, nobody's advice is more respected. That's from another consultant, Pat Necarato, Parinaville, New Jersey, president and CEO of Driving Force Inc., PNZ Management. With Dr. Rob, I'm finally getting the good cases I want, the ones we all want. Sorry about that. Forgot to move the screen again. I'll double my new patient numbers next month. Simply amazing. I've already gotten 6 new patients in the first 2 days, and it's so darn cheap. I've only spent $70. I can't wait to ramp things up the next few weeks. But the absolute best part is that I didn't have to do any work. I didn't have to make any decisions. I just sat back and the new patients called me. Jeff Gilbert, Urbandale, Iowa. Indianapolis, sorry. Indiana. There you go. 3rd time's the charm. Hey, Dr. Rob, just had to write and tell you that you're giving us the best cost per lead and ROI out of anything I'm currently doing. It's been great. Thanks. Dr. Ryan Valancic, Fort Mill, South Carolina. Just a couple more here. Just kind of want to let you know why you should listen. $108 invested, $3,000 return, and I'm just getting started. For the first time in years, I feel optimistic and hopeful about my future. You're the only consultant that actually delivered the results you promised. Over the last several years, I had become so gun shy to try anything. I'm getting good patients to call me for just $10, $15 per lead. Dr. Rob Rubino, New Haven, Connecticut. Some amazing things have happened. My cost per new patient has been cut in half while my conversion rate has skyrocketed. It's a no-brainer. Dr. Tim Dembowski from my old stopping ground in Atlanta, Georgia. Last one. We're really excited to have Dr. Rob McDermott working with us, helping our group. I heard about the great results he was getting with Dr. Brandon Crater's Functional Medicine Masters group, and I asked him if he could do the same for our AMI members. Colleen Carberry, physical therapist, Chattanooga, Tennessee, co-founder and owner, Advanced Medical Integration. I know many of you know who they are. Now, let me ask you, if you don't do anything new, how is your practice going to look 6 months from now? Will you still be worrying about money? Will you still be frustrated because you're not making the money you deserve? Will you be disappointed because you can't provide for your family the way you want to? If you're not already living the life of your dreams, how much longer are you willing to wait until you start? Let's talk about something. The reality of attracting new patients to your clinic as a chiropractor. You don't just hang up your shingle, and once people find out there's a new chiropractor in town, they start calling and booking appointments with us, right? Not yet anyway. The harsh truth is that chiropractic is simply one of the worst business models ever. So hold on. What I mean is people would just rather pop a pill, cover up their symptoms, and go on with their day. It's much easier than taking the time to get the actual cause of the problem corrected, right? MDs and the drug companies have brainwashed entire generations into thinking that this is how they should take care of their health. And the AMA and the pharmaceutical industry have worked very hard to make sure the public views us with distrust and skepticism. We're outsiders in the healthcare system, right? We're not real doctors. Heck, we can't even prescribe medication, right? And so for us, gaining the public's trust and respect and bringing in new patients to our clinic has always been a challenge. Type yes into the chat box if you've ever felt like a second-class citizen in our healthcare system. Again, go ahead. Don't be bashful. We're among friends. I just want to make sure, again, if you guys are all with me. So type yes into the chat box if you've ever felt like a second-class citizen. And the crowd goes crazy again. I'm with you, Guy. You know, Chuck, Nancy, Donald, I hear you all. And to make matters worse, right? We've all been taught to market chiropractic backwards. You never want to talk about you, your office, your state-of-the-art equipment, your gentle techniques, and especially not about chiropractic in any of your advertising. So how can advertising that never mentions your name or says anything about you or your practice be the key to ending your new patient worries forever? We're going to get to all that. But first, a quick story. Now, I graduated from Life College, now Life University, back in 1995. In fact, I was part of the Centennial class. I walked on the exact day, September 18th, of the 100-year anniversary of D.D. Palmer giving the very first chiropractic adjustment to Harvey Lillard. When I attended Life, it was most definitely the heyday of Dr. Sid Williams. And anybody that knows Sid knows he had a flair for the dramatic, to say the least. So he made darn sure that as the Centennial class, we walked on the exact day of that anniversary. He even hired some local actor to dress up as Dee Dee. This guy was actually up on stage, shaking the hand of each graduate as we received our diploma. It was the weirdest thing, even for Sid. I remember thinking, why the heck am I shaking hands and being congratulated by this guy who is just playing Dee Dee for the day? But if you knew Sid, if you knew Dr. Sid at all, you get it. You understand. Anyway, as I got my diploma and walked off the stage, like everyone else, I was full of hope and excitement and ready to change the world, one spine at a time, right? Well, not so fast. Now, if you've heard me speak before at seminars or conferences or on stage anywhere, you know my story. For those of you who don't, well, it's extremely personal and it's incredibly embarrassing, but here it is. After 3.5 years in practice, faithfully following the advice of the consultants and so-called marketing experts in our industry, I won't mention any names, but you know every one of them. Here's where I found myself. It was the night of mine and my wife's 4-year wedding anniversary. Both of our cars had just been repossessed the week before, right out of our clinic's parking lot as we watched helplessly. We knew what was going on, but we couldn't very well just run out and start begging and pleading with the tow truck guy while patients were sitting right there in the waiting room, right by the front door, able to see the whole thing. My wife, who was also my office manager at the time, actually played it real cool when her car was taken. just casually, matter-of-factly told some patient signing in at the front desk that her car had died as she was pulling into her parking spot that morning, and it was just being towed to the dealership to get looked at. She always knew what to say. Anyway, the month before that, this is not an actual picture of us. The month before that, we had to move into the basement of my mother-in-law's house. Me, my wife, my stepdaughter, and our 2 dogs, because we could no longer pay our mortgage. That was fun. And now, here me and my wife were on the night of our anniversary, anxiously pacing around, waiting, hoping, praying this one cash-paying patient would show up for his appointment so I would have the $35 I needed to take my wife out to this crappy little all-you-can-eat Chinese food buffet to celebrate. Totally pathetic. I could not have felt like more of a loser. Let me tell you, and some of you know this yourselves, unfortunately, a life filled with tension, struggle, worry, and frustration over money is hardly a life at all. Now, I know a lot of you out there are nodding your heads right now. At dinner that night, my wife and I had a real heart-to-heart talk, and I told her, as much as I loved chiropractic, loved my patients, loved helping people, knew what I was doing was important, I guess I just didn't have what it took to make a living at it. I was devastated. So was she. In fact, we both started crying right at the table. What a sight it must have been, blubbering away in between bites of egg rolls and dumplings. I couldn't believe my chiropractic dream, the dream I had sacrificed everything for, just like a lot of you. I quit my well-paying sales job in Boston for, uprooted my life and relocated to Atlanta for, took out a huge amount of student loans for, was over. And then that weekend, just as I was about to throw in the towel and call it quits, I was introduced to this man, Dan Kennedy. For those of you who don't know, Dan Kennedy is generally considered the godfather of modern day direct response marketing, a true legend and marketing genius. He pioneered, developed, and refined many of the most successful marketing strategies used today by businesses all over the world. You'd be hard-pressed to name a well-known, respected marketer in any industry who hasn't been heavily influenced by the man, whether they know it or not. He was a mentor of mine as well for the past 16 years. So there I was, feeling sorry for myself, and I had totally forgotten, but about a week or so earlier, I had ordered this manual from Dan and Dr. Ben Altadonna. It was all about using these totally different looking, what they called advertorial style newspaper ads to attract new patients. Instead of looking like an obvious advertisement with the typical headline, headshot, copy, and graphics, these ads were designed to look like other news articles in the paper. I'd never seen anything like them. It was the exact opposite of the type of ad all the other consultants I had worked with had been telling me to use. Instead of using image type ads promoting myself and my office and the benefits of chiropractic, these ads were more like PSAs, public service announcements, or what I call consumer awareness ads. It immediately changed everything for me. Instead of just being another self-serving doctor promoting themselves like everyone else, this style of marketing positioned me as a trusted resource people could turn to for honest answers. And as a result, I started getting more new patients than I could handle. I had to hire an associate. I even opened up a second clinic in downtown Atlanta. It was so easy. I simply picked out the ads from the manual for the type of new patients I wanted and ran them in the newspaper. Life was good. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and this time it wasn't an oncoming train. But this webinar isn't about newspaper advertising. No. First, newspaper is a dying medium. Each year, the average print newspaper loses between 15 to 18% of their readership. And more publishers are laying off staff and switching to an online format. But probably more than anything, what really ruined everything was that Dan and Ben let things become oversaturated. There wasn't any area exclusivity. And before long, there were a dozen or so other chiropractors in the Atlanta area doing the same exact thing I was doing in the same newspaper. The uniqueness and effectiveness of the ads was quickly lost. Now, I was lucky enough to be the first one in my market to use these ads. And for a short time, I had the newspaper all to myself. I got to see how well these PSA-style consumer awareness ads worked. But within about 6 months, with all the competition, I could see the writing on the wall. This wasn't going to last. My cost per lead was skyrocketing out of control. I needed to figure out something fast. I wasn't going back to doing the free lunchtime lectures at the local library or spending my weekends at the mall and county fairs doing spinal screenings or any of the other demeaning, time-consuming, soul-crushing crap I had been told was the way to do things as a chiropractor, right? You guys are nodding your head out there. I had gotten a taste of what life could be like when I was using the right marketing, and I wasn't going back. I knew that I needed to keep using this PSA-style marketing, but I didn't know where or how I was going to do that. And then it happened. My, as they say, aha moment, courtesy of Atlanta's largest PI attorneys. I was home having lunch one afternoon between office hours, just relaxing, hanging out with my two best friends, my English Mastiffs, brother and sister, Trudy and Isosceles. Trudy, of course, was snoring up a storm as usual, napping on the couch. I remember I was making fun of my wife, Julie, for watching Jerry Springer, something like that, one of those trashy judge shows. But then I noticed something. Commercial after commercial, one after the other, was for a personal injury attorney, all saying the same thing. The insurance companies are afraid of us. We'll get you the largest settlement allowed by law. We don't make a dime unless you do. The commercials were horrible, unoriginal, uninteresting, just filled with slogans. And yet I knew these attorneys were the ones who had the biggest and most successful law firms in Atlanta. I knew this because many of my auto accident patients I treated had cases with them. And then all of a sudden, it hit me. They had tapped into the incredible power of TV advertising. And I realized that's what I needed to do too. If these awful commercials were responsible for building the largest personal injury law firms in Atlanta, I thought, imagine what kind of results I could get if I adapted my PSA-style newspaper ads into 30-second TV spots. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. Forget everything you thought you knew about TV advertising. TV is an untapped new patient gold mine, tailor-made for us as chiropractors, and you've been missing out on it for way too long. Contrary to what you think, TV is by far still the most powerful and influential advertising medium on the planet, bar none. In fact, the average adult, your new patient prospects, are actually watching more TV than ever these days. According to the AC Nielsen Company, the Nielsen rating people, the average adult watches slightly more than 5.2 hours of TV every day. Think about it. Most people, when they get up, turn on the TV, watch the news. Then, during the afternoon, they're watching it. The average U.S. household has their TV on a total of 10 to 11 hours per day. TV is magnetic, right? Nothing else has the power to grab people's attention and communicate a message like TV. You see it every time someone walks into a room. Everyone stops, at least for a few moments, to see what's on TV, right? TV is everywhere. Bars, restaurants, the airport, Jiffy Lube, most doctors' waiting rooms. The Outback Steakhouse by my house now has more than a dozen TVs placed throughout their dining room. The little diner my mom goes to for breakfast with her friends after church every day now has 5 TVs in a space no more than 1,000 square feet. People love TV. It's like a trusted family friend we all grew up with. Just the fact that your ad is on TV gives it instant credibility. You definitely don't get that with online marketing, where people are skeptical of everything, and for good reason. And TV is a long-term solution. The longevity and staying power of television is unparalleled. Think about the drug companies. They've been using TV for decades, directing millions of patients to contact their doctors and find out more about their latest and greatest miracle drugs. Those ads for Viagra, with the couple sitting side by side in the tubs, they've been on for well over a decade. And what about those Attention Medicare beneficiary ads? You know the ones, right? Attention Medicare beneficiaries. If you're suffering, right? Those ads have been on for 20 years, actually longer than 20 years. I would say the first time I noticed them when I was putting together my commercials, that was back in 90. Oh my God, not 90, 98, but 20, 21, 22 years. Many of my members have been using the same exact commercials for years. You heard a couple of testimonials earlier, getting the same results month after month. Try that with Facebook and Google, where no matter how smart your online guy or gal is, the ads go stale every couple of months, if not every couple of weeks these days. And when you know how to do it correctly and have the right commercials to use, TV advertising is incredibly cheap. And that's true whether you're in a small town or big city. See for yourself. This is from Josh Nelson in Arlington, Texas. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, one of the top 10 most expensive TV markets in the entire country. But I was able to run a full day's campaign on network TV that I only invested $97 in and got 31 new patient prospects calling me. I can't believe it. The best part is that all this marketing was going on while I was home spending time with my family. And this one, it's from Don Sink in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, another big market. We had 37 new patients calling us after our first TV commercial ran, and it only cost me 81 cents per call. For the first time in a long time, I'm looking forward to the new year and using your ads to get all of my new patients. With this one from Dale Kelly, who's in a medium-sized market, Reno, Nevada, Sparks, Nevada, just outside Reno, about 250,000. I've only spent $200 and I've already made $11,000 in new case fees. This system brings in the exact type of new patients I want. I can't wait to get my new weight loss commercials and start using them as well. Dale started out with diabetes commercials. TV advertising is so much cheaper than I ever thought. My average cost per new patient lead is less than $3. This has worked out even better than Dr. Rob said, and I didn't take up any of my time. It's been wonderful. Thanks, Dr. Rob. And just a couple more. Dr. Jason Koenig and his partner Joel Cheatwood in Hoover, Alabama, small market, right? Wrote me in saying, I was very skeptical, but I have to admit the results speak for themselves. I got 76 new patient leads calling me with one of the commercials I started using, and the cost per lead was only $1.58. I used another one and got 58 people calling me, and the cost per lead was only $2.07. And this was no fluke. Here's what happened when I started testing another TV show with the same commercials. The first time I ran the commercial, I got 39 leads. My cost per lead was only $6.97. On my last test, we got 52 new patient leads calling us, and the cost per lead was only $4.67. Thanks for everything, Dr. Rob. You're one of the good guys out there in profession, really helping docs. And then Dwayne Marquardt, right outside St. Louis in Baldwin, Missouri. He writes in, says, we've been using Dr. Rob's neuropathy TV commercials for the last 4 months, and we're getting hundreds of leads every month for an average cost of just $9.77. Thanks for making this successful for us. I really appreciate your quick responses and the simple and professional way you handle things. Dr. Tom Miller, Lake Oswego, Oregon. He dropped a line to me saying, hi, Dr. Rob, just wanted to let you know the great results I've had using your TV ads. It's the cheapest way to get leads I've ever seen, and nothing else I've done has given me as many leads. Last Friday, I got 18 leads at a cost per lead of around $16. Then I got 73 leads the next 2 days at an average cost of just $4.86. Thanks for making your ads available. Todd Litton and his wife from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I love saying that. I ran the commercials on CBS with a cost per lead of only $10. Followed that with a run on the Fox network and got a cost per lead of just $2. Just a couple more here. Tim Young, from Rockville, Maryland, is pretty excited. The commercials are fantastic and the response is great. The spots run and the new patients just show up. Your product is terrific and your customer service is great. Dr. Heath Bost from Simpsonville, South Carolina, also wrote in, I was skeptical, but we sure do get a lot of new patients. I can really dominate my market using these commercials. I need to talk to you ASAP about getting the other commercials you have. Thanks for making them available. And perhaps best of all, these docs never have to worry about having any competition in their market. With TV advertising, each doctor has exclusive rights to their area. Of course, area exclusivity is a double-edged sword. You can also be locked out of your own market forever. Then you just have to sit by and watch month after month, year after year, as the chiropractor down the street gets all the new patients that should have been yours. We'll talk more about this later. So, would you like to see a few of the commercials doctors are using to get these results? Type yes into the chat box if you're ready to see them. Nobody wants to see them? Kathy Donald, just making sure. I know I went on, but I really think it's also important, just like you guys should be using your Patient Speak Out book and you can never have enough testimonials, never. Okay? Anyway, let me of course show you the commercials. So but before we look at the commercials, let me just explain a few things real quick so you understand exactly why the commercials look the way they do and why they are scripted the way they are. Okay? It's important. This is Colleen Carberry, co-founder of AMI, Advanced Medical Integration. You saw their testimony before. You see these guys' ads all the time in Dynamic Chiropractic. You saw a testimonial, like I said earlier as well. She might have summed it up best when I spoke at AMI's biannual convention in Denver in 2016, when she introduced me to her members saying, Dr. Rob's TV's commercials are not cute or funny or entertaining. They don't talk about you, your office, or even mention the word chiropractic. But as soon as you see them, you'll understand immediately why they work so well. And I haven't found a better way to sum that up than what she said. Now, as I've already said, as a chiropractor, you absolutely do not want to use image type ads. You know what I mean? You on camera in your starch white jacket, standing there looking all professional, talking about your gentle techniques, caring staff, and how chiropractic is the answer they've been looking for. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you do that. It's the number one reason TV commercials for chiropractors have always failed. Listen, there's a trust gap with us as chiropractors. You know what I'm talking about. People are skeptical. They're not exactly sure what we do. Many people are concerned that our treatment could even be dangerous and possibly hurt them. And why shouldn't they be? The only stories that ever seem to make it into the news about us are how somebody had a stroke after getting their neck adjusted or were paralyzed after getting their back cracked. And of course, every step of the way, the medical establishment and big pharma are right there, always trying to ensure that the public's image of us is that we're not real doctors. They know the threat we pose to their monopoly on healthcare and take every opportunity to undercut us. So, using image type ads for us as chiropractors is not the way to go. No, not when the public's image of us is still dominated by skepticism. To finally have TV commercials that work for us as chiropractors, what needed to be done was to adapt the consumer awareness public service announcement style ads that had already seen work so well in the newspaper into 30-second TV spots. Commercials that never talk about chiropractic or even mentioned the doctor's name. Instead, like with the newspaper ads that were more like consumer alerts, designed to position us as a trusted resource people can turn to for honest answers they can't get anywhere else. That's the positioning you want with your TV commercials. Listen, you want all of the people with the type of condition or problem you want to treat more of calling you, right? You want all of them. Well, if you use one-step image type TV commercials talking about you and chiropractic, right away you're weeding out forever everyone who isn't convinced immediately that both you and chiropractic care are the answer for them right then. As a result, you end up getting only a small fraction of the new patients you could have. This is the biggest mistake we as chiropractors make with all of our advertising and marketing. And because of it, millions of people never get the care they need. That needs to be changed. Now, in keeping with the public service announcement tone and feel of the commercials, they also need to have a certain look, a simple, clean, understated appearance. You don't need any actors or actresses on screen. It's not about fancy graphics, screen changes, and multiple camera shots. It's not about having catchy music or jingles. It's not a Super Bowl commercial we're trying to produce, or a Disney vacation, or a trip to Las Vegas we're trying to sell. I wasted literally tens of thousands of dollars and so much time the first couple of years I was on TV producing commercials that made use of all the bells and whistles the people at the TV stations told me I needed to employ. They looked great. They had tremendous production value, as they say. And you know what? They didn't work. Hardly anyone called. Turns out all the fancy production stuff I was being told to do actually distracted the viewer from focusing on the serious consumer awareness message I was trying to deliver. The look of the commercials were totally inconsistent with a PSA style ad. I should have known better. After all, my newspaper ads didn't use any graphics at all. They were as plain looking as could be. It was only when I stopped listening to the people at the TV station and started using the simple single screen commercials that I'm going to show you today that everything came together and I finally started getting results. So let's take a look at a few of these commercials so you can see and hear exactly what I mean. The first one I'm going to show you is for low back pain. Let me just cue it up. Okay. Here it is. Let me just get that there. Of course, Webinar Jam is constantly changing. Okay, here it is. Okay. All right. So here it is. All right. I'll be back with you in 30 seconds after it's done playing.
The following is a consumer alert announcement for anyone suffering with low back pain. If you're confused and don't know what to do next, this free report reveals why most treatments fail and why some should be avoided completely. Many unsuspecting patients may experience permanent disc and nerve injury. Find out today what you and your doctors may be doing to actually make your back pain worse. To receive your free copy of this brand new report, call the Consumer Education Hotline now, toll free at 1-800-670-3834 and listen to the 24-hour recorded message.
Okay, so first, let's talk about the appearance of the screen. Let me just make sure that I've got this set up so I don't go and then go on forgetting. There we go. Okay. Oops. Hang on one second. There we go. Sorry, folks. As you can tell, Dr. Rob is not the tech person. When I show a video, it knocks off the PowerPoint, and so I don't do these webinars enough to always be up on all the last-minute changes. But anyway, so first, let's talk about the appearance of this commercial, the screen, right? As you saw, it's a simple single screen that doesn't change the entire time the commercial is airing. There are no fancy graphics, no music, certainly no actors. It's just the type of commercial with the basic necessary information up on the screen that you'd expect to see with a public service announcement commercial. And that's exactly how it needs to be. It's a consumer awareness spot. We don't want it to look like we're putting in too much effort, like we're trying to impress anyone. Otherwise, it will look like we are selling something, not just promoting a hotline for the public's benefit. Type in yes into the chat box if you can see why this makes sense? Oop, I got to get back to the chat box. You guys with me? Just want to make sure it makes sense. Okay, thanks, Mike. That's Brian. Thanks, Donald. Just want to make sure. I don't want anybody sleeping. We all took this time out of our day, so I just want to make sure, it's productive. So, okay. It's like everything, right? Everything seems so obvious now, but it took so long with so much trial and error to figure things out. Things like deciding what font and what font size work best for all the text and the toll-free number, experimenting and testing with exactly where on the screen to display all the text, the 800 number, the words, low back pain, free report, consumer alert, call toll-free, 24-hour recorded message. I have to admit, it all took more than a few years to get things exactly how they needed to be. And don't get me started on how long and how many campaigns it took for me to finally determine that there are really only 5 color schemes, just 5, that can be used to give the correct appearance and feel to the screen. Let me explain something very important real quick in case it's on your mind. Okay, this is not about mailing out free reports. Nobody's going to be licking stamps or addressing envelopes. It's not about that at all. I'll explain everything shortly. Now, as far as the voiceover, what the commercial actually says, of course, the opening sentence is critical. In keeping with the theme of a public service type announcement, we right away want to identify the commercial as a consumer alert. It's official sounding, and it sets the tone we want for the rest of the commercial. Now, in that very first sentence, we also want to call out who we specifically want to pay attention. We want that crowd, that group, to know this important announcement is just for them. Next, we immediately want to say something provocative and thought-provoking that draws them in further, right? That's why we say, if you're confused and don't know what to do next, this free report reveals why most treatments fail and why some should be avoided completely. Many unsuspecting patients may experience permanent disc and nerve injury. It's all about building intrigue and stimulating curiosity. And we're also letting them know right away that nothing is being sold. The only thing being offered is a free consumer report that is being made available to the public so they can find out what they really need to know. So instead of the typical sales pitch that usually comes next, directing people to purchase some product or service, you want your commercial to remain a pure public service announcement, warning them of what they may not be aware of and nobody else will tell them. The fear of missing out, FOMO, right? Like the kids say, causes tremendous curiosity and keeps their attention. Then you finish up with a final statement that raises even more questions and concerns and gets them thinking even more about what they don't know, right? Find out today what you and your doctor may be doing to actually make your back pain worse. Then we give them an easy, non-threatening way. Oh, I am behind. My God, nobody even told me. There we go. Got my screens out of sync there. Sorry. So finally, we give them an easy, non-threatening way to get a free copy of the report. They simply call the Consumer Education Hotline toll-free and listen to the 24-hour recorded message. And this is crucial. You'll get 10 times as many people calling because they know that they're not going to be confronted by an operator or someone picking up the phone on the other end that's going to try to sell them something. Look at the results these docs are getting. Dr. Frank Siebenaler from Austin, Texas. Yesterday, we got 22 new low back patient leads. We've had days when we're getting people calling for only $9 and other days where we're paying less than $6. And this from Dr. Dave Dunham in Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been amazed at the response. I'm thrilled at the low back leads we're getting. To be honest, it surprised the heck out of me. 17 leads at a cost of $12.59 per lead. Dr. Chris Willwood in Medical Lake, Washington says, it was so easy and the cost per lead was only $10. Type in yes if you see why these public service announcement style commercials are so different and would work better than the image type ads chiropractors have used in the past. I really want to know if you guys, are getting why they would be so much more successful. Doreen, David, Greg, Brian, Kathy, Mike, Anthony, just great. You can see that, right? Because the typical ad is just the typical image type ad promoting your practice. And we can't do that as chiropractors. It's sad to say, I know, but 25 years later that I've been out, right? I graduated in 95, 25 years later, we still have to promote using more of blind lead generation, okay? It's just the reality. If you want to, help as many people as possible, you have to be smart about the marketing. Otherwise, you're not helping anybody, right? I mean, otherwise, what are you doing? So, okay. Now, with this commercial, sorry. Excuse me. Let me show you the next commercial, okay? This one is for weight loss, okay? So hang on for a second. I'm going to I gotta just put on the video. I'm gonna leave you for a second. Don't cry. I know it's sad. Okay, for weight loss, okay, my engineer has queued up this one. Here you go, and I'll talk to you in 30 seconds.
The following is a consumer alert announcement for all women aged 35 to 65 struggling with weight loss. Don't start a new diet, take another pill, or even consider surgery until you get a free copy of this unedited internal report that reveals the 7 diet myths the weight loss industry continues to promote to ensure you become a lifelong customer. Don't put your health at risk by not knowing all the facts. To get your free copy of this brand new report, call the Consumer Education Hotline now, toll free at 1-800-383-4886 and listen to the 24-hour recorded message.
We just make sure, I know there's like a 5-10 second delay from when it's playing here to when you guys hear it. So just want to make sure everybody's hearing me okay. Got that all turned on. Okay, screen share's on. Sorry, I have to do this every time we go show a video. So, okay, it's the same formula at work here that you just saw with the low back pain commercial, right? And of course, it's not just what's being said, it's also how it's being said. The voiceover delivery is just as important as anything. That's why I do it myself. I've been a professional voiceover talent. Don't judge me on my voice today. I was out to dinner with my younger sister and my nephew yesterday, and this band started playing in this Italian restaurant. We had no idea. We ended up shouting at each other for about 2 hours. So my voice is a little raspy, but the reason I do the voiceovers for every single commercial is because it has to be done in a very precise way. The tone, the pacing, the subtle inflections and pauses, there's a very precise way it all needs to be done. There's a very specific tempo. You want to convey urgency, but not franticness. We're not a used car dealership having a month-end sale. It's an understated but authoritative delivery, more in keeping with what you'd see with, say, a lung cancer, quit smoking type PSA commercial. Now, with this commercial, we're not just calling out everyone struggling with weight loss. With this commercial, we want women, specifically women ages 35 to 65 struggling with weight loss, to feel like this commercial alert is something that they specifically really need to pay attention to. In reality, of course, we know that women ages 35 to 65 account for about 80-85% of our target market for weight loss, right? But again, if you can simply word the commercial in a way that makes a viewer feel that the announcement is especially for them, it has a much greater impact. For example, what if you were home watching TV and a commercial came on saying, "Attention all male chiropractors"? That would catch your attention, right? Of course it would. The ad seems like it's for you personally, even though we know 80% of all chiropractors are male. Again, like anything, the way something is worded makes all the difference. Then, just like with the low back pain commercials, we immediately hit them with a statement that gets them thinking, wondering what the weight loss industry is hiding from them and doesn't want them to know. Again, it's all about curiosity and fear of missing out, building intrigue to the point where they almost have to call the hotline to get that free report. It's human nature. Everyone wants to know the insiders only information being kept from them. Don't you? So the commercial says, don't start a new diet, take another pill, or even consider surgery until you get a free copy of this unedited internal report that reveals the 7 diet myths the weight loss industry continues to promote to ensure you become a lifelong customer. When you think about it, it's really more like an anti-weight loss commercial. Everyone else is promoting themselves and their product. This is the exact opposite. The only thing being promoted here is a free report that tells them the truth. People trying to sell them something won't. It's a consumer protection type ad is what it really is. And then we finish things up with the final provocative statement. Don't put your health at risk by not knowing all the facts. To get your free copy of this brand new report, call the Consumer Education Hotline. And what happens when you do it like this? Ask these doctors. Dr. Chris Getz down in Miami, Florida, loves the results he's getting. I did very well. I got 36 new patient leads at a cost of just $11.56 per lead. Dr. Tom in Dearborn Heights, Michigan said, we got 17 leads at a cost of $7.17 per lead. Followed that up and got 20 leads. Did it again and pulled 18 leads at a cost of $12.78 per lead. And Dr. Dawn DeCutt, the director of operations for the Central Illinois Spine Doctors Clinic in Bloomfield, Illinois, says, these work. Got 10 new patient leads calling me for a cost of only $11.33 per lead. Yay. Let's look at one more commercial. Okay. This one's for knee pain. Let me get it set up, and I'll see you back in 30 seconds. So hang on 1 second.
If you're a senior citizen suffering with chronic knee pain, frustrated with taking medications, and want to avoid painful injections and surgery, you need to get this free consumer report that exposes the truth many doctors and the drug companies don't want you to know. Knee surgery often fails and can make your problem even worse, permanently. Find out the options your doctors aren't telling you about. Call the Consumer Protection Hotline now, toll free at 1-888-410-6464, and listen to the 24-hour recorded message.
Okay. So this particular knee pain commercial calls out seniors who want to avoid getting cortisone injections and having knee replacement surgery. Of course, there are other commercials that are for people who have already had knee replacement surgery and it's, failed, right? And that accounts for about half of all knee replacement. So I'm just showing you one commercial out of, we have a series of commercials for each condition, but obviously we'd be here all day if, I showed you, 100 plus commercials. So like I said, this particular commercial, knee pain commercial, calls out seniors who want to avoid getting cortisone injections and having knee replacement surgery. Now, you notice with this commercial, the tempo and pace of the voiceover is slower, a little more deliberate. Because it's for seniors and many of them have trouble with their hearing, we don't want to talk too fast. We want to make sure they hear what's being said. Seniors tend to watch a lot of TV. They're up early and they've got that TV on just about all day. Game shows, talk shows, the news. Heck, my mom watches the news like 4 times a day, at least. at 5 a.m., then the noon news, then again at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And all of our friends are like that too. Seniors are a very responsive group as well. That's why you see a lot of ads on TV directed towards them. Think of those attention Medicare beneficiary ads, right? And the reverse mortgage commercials and those senior living ads that are always on. Now, as you just saw, like the other consumer awareness commercials I've shown you, this ad has one focus. It's designed to raise concerns and get people thinking. Get them curious about what they're not being told, the free report people don't want them to see, right? Now, here's from Dr. Jean-Pierre Silvera, my favorite name to say. He's in Claremont, Florida, and these are the results he's getting. He says, I'm in the Orlando, Florida market. I was definitely skeptical, but I'm investing under $100 for a campaign on network TV, ABC, and averaging a cost per lead of less than $11. Dr. Mark Miller, Lexington, Kentucky, is impressed. I could not be happier with the results we are getting. I'm getting high quality new patient leads for less than $8. I only wish that I had started sooner. I'm so excited about what the rest of the year will bring. And of course, these consumer awareness, public service announcement style commercials will work for any condition or type of patient you want to bring into your practice. Doesn't matter what it is. So how about, you guys and gals, what types of patients and cases are you trying to attract to your clinic? Decompression, weight loss, PI, stem cell, regenerative medicine, awesome. Neuropathy, diabetes, love it. Low back, knee pain, leaky gut, all good ones. Fibromyalgia, headache, thyroid, neck and shoulder. I mean, nice. I love all the conditions, that you guys are, putting up there. Great. Okay. So let me show you how you can have the highest conversion rate you've ever had turning these leads into paying new patients. First, since the 800 number automatically captures and verifies their number when people call the hotline, you'll have their actual real cell phone number, not a fake one like people often give when they're opt-in online, etc. Calling people right after they've taken action and called for their free report is one of the times when they're the hottest. Why not have one of your staff give them a quick call back right then and get them scheduled for an exam, consultation, dinner, workshop, or whatever you want? And if for some reason they aren't able to get them scheduled, or you just prefer they not make calls, no big deal. Since you have their cell phone number along with their email address and name, of course, which was all gotten when they called the hotline, a coordinated email and text follow-up campaign can now be implemented to do the work for you getting them scheduled. There are all kinds of media and channels, but email is still the center of the marketing universe. It's permission to be inside your customer's personal space, okay? Now, for most doctors, including myself, a properly written email and text campaign should absolutely be done before letting a prospect meet with you in person. This way you can demonstrate your knowledge and empathy regarding their condition, give insights as to why their problem hasn't been resolved with what they're currently doing, educate them on what chiropractic really is about and how you can help them. And all along the way, you're building rapport and gaining their trust until finally, right, you're seen as the only solution to their problem. By the time they come into the clinic, they're pre-sold on working with you and becoming a patient. It makes things so much easier. A 30-day campaign should be planned out, but most people will schedule themselves within the first 7 to 10 days, but only if you do it the right way. The same style of copy used to script the voiceovers for the TV commercials that got people to take action in the first place and call the hotline That is what is needed to be used here as well. The TV commercials started the conversation, and the emails and texts need to continue it with the same type of intriguing, thought-provoking, curiosity-building language to get people to take the next step and schedule an appointment with you. Educating them about chiropractic, of course, but pushing their emotional hot buttons. You can't just send out informative, stat-filled, boring emails and texts like I see all the time. Even from the docs that, there's few of you guys, but they'll say, yeah, we send out emails. And then, it's once a week or once a month, and it's just not exciting. You want people to look forward to the emails coming to them, right? You want them to be thought-provoking and, in a sense, entertaining. And nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. Nobody understands, unfortunately, the power of a well-scripted email. I mean, it's just like a well-scripted commercial. It's necessary to hit people, right? People buy on emotions and justify logically after. I'm not saying chiropractic isn't a logical choice, but logic doesn't get people to take action. And you really need to, understand that. You got to get people stirred up a bit. That's what gets them to take action, okay? You want them to keep thinking about the treatment options their doctors aren't telling them about and maybe don't want them to know about, why drugs and surgery are very likely to make the problem worse, why they may be very well be suffering needlessly. And once you've done that, you'll finally have an automated, reliable, low-cost system in place for bringing in the exact types of new patients you want every single day. These docs did it. Here's what they're saying. I can't recommend it highly enough. I just exploded my practice. I doubled my practice last year, and I'll double it again this year. Dr. Mike Mountain in Chula Vista, California. No competition. Incredible results. Dr. Brian McKay, Darien, Connecticut. This is the only way to go. I've got new patients calling me for low back pain, personal injury, and even headaches. Stuff works. Dr. Jose Aguilar, Westmont, Illinois. And finally, from this, Dan Joseph. We've gotten off to such a great start. I immediately made sure to reserve my area for two more conditions. Dr. Dan Joseph, Peoria, Illinois. Imagine never having to worry again where your next new patient is coming from. Imagine never allowing another new patient prospect to steal you or your staff's time, because that's what it is, unless they've already called you, scheduled themselves for an appointment, and are now waiting anxiously for you to step into your exam room, hoping you will accept them as a new patient. Imagine finally being stress-free and relaxed, knowing you can easily grow your practice to whatever size you want without scrambling to figure out how each month. Imagine having the money to buy anything you or your family want, anytime you want, and finally have the time to enjoy it. You deserve that. So where do you go from here? Well, you've seen how this simple two-step system works, how the consumer awareness, public service announcement style commercials generate high-quality leads for a low cost for any condition you want. We've discussed how to craft the correct email and text follow-up campaign to convert those leads into paying new patients. So you and your staff, the only time you're interacting with them is when they call to set the appointment. That's how it should be. That's how other businesses work. They're not out there working a full-time job on top of their full-time job to get patients in. It can all be done automatically. It can all be done for you. You've seen testimonials from doctors all over the country, just like you, bragging about the results they're getting. So what do you do next? Although many of you will want to do this, I know most of you don't want to spend the time or money figuring it all out on your own. So let's talk and see how I can help, okay? I've had my team set aside some time on my schedule over the next 72 hours so I can speak with you one-on-one about how to do the same thing for your clinic. We'll get on a Zoom call for about 45 minutes, And during that session, I'll put together a step-by-step game plan specifically for your practice to fill it to capacity. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get started, and we'll figure out what you may want some help with. Now, normally when somebody books me for one of these Zoom strategy sessions, I charge a fee of $949, but there's no charge to you for this call. It's the free gift I mentioned earlier in the webinar, but you do have to qualify for it. Number one, you must be good at what you do. You get results for your patients and make their lives better. My team and I are here to support doctors that are passionate, whose number one motivation is helping people. You must be a good ambassador for the profession and represent the highest standards. Number two, you must desire growth for your practice. I want to help docs that have big goals, that are really looking to make a difference, that want to help as many people as possible in their community every single week. Docs that aren't afraid of seeing more new patients in the next 90 days than they now see all year. Number three, you must value what you do as a chiropractor and what you offer to the public. You're not afraid to charge what you're worth, and your case fees reflect that. You guys do incredible things with the special skills and talents you work damn hard to get. No more undervaluing yourself, please. You should be one of the wealthiest people in your community. And the more financially secure you and your family are, the more you can give back to your community and the charities you want to support. So I'm going to put up this button, okay, right now. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so there it is now. So if that's you, then I want you to go ahead and click the button on your screen and apply for one of these 45-minute sessions right now. And as I said, it's entirely free. And I promise you that if we do get on a call for 45 minutes, it will change the rest of your career. So why am I offering? Let me get back to my slideshow. So why am I offering you a free $949 consultation? Two reasons. One, the chiropractic profession has been incredibly good to me. I have a level of freedom and prosperity that I never dreamed possible. I feel blessed. I'm grateful to be in such a position and be able to pay it forward and lend a helping hand to my fellow chiropractors. Sharing marketing insights that I was lucky enough to discover that I wish I would have known before I almost quit the profession. I'm so sick and tired of seeing my fellow chiropractors bust their butts, working long hours, giving of themselves, going that extra mile, and not having the income and lifestyle that should go along with it. And of course, as I said earlier, although many of you will want to implement the action plan we put together during our Zoom strategy session, I know many of you won't want to spend the time and money figuring out each step and doing it on your own, and would rather have me help you with it or even just do it all for you. And if you want my help, that's great. We can certainly talk about that. I'll implement the same two-step system as Dr. Stuart Swan and Dr. Jeff Ermacher and Dr. Mark Holland and Dr. Jeff Gilbert and Dr. Dale Kelly and Dr. Rob Romino and all the other docs whose success stories you've heard today. There's a fee, of course, and before anything, we'll make sure it's a good fit for both of us. I have some questions, and I'm sure you do too. I want to make sure I'm giving area exclusivity to the right doctor. Either way, you're going to get tremendous value and clarity out of our time together. So go ahead and click that button on your screen right now and book an appointment with me. There'll also be a short questionnaire where you can give me a little background on where you're at with your practice right now and where you want to be in the next 12 months. Let me know the challenges and obstacles you're having with your marketing, your staff, your patients, what you're frustrated with or worried about, what keeps you up some nights. And just to make sure everything is working properly, test clicking that button right now and let me know if there's a problem. Do it right now. I just want to make sure before I leave you that everything's good. So just go ahead and, test that button right now. Thanks. Bill, James, thanks. Dr. Arnold, great. Listen, if you ever want to have the practice, bank account, and lifestyle you and your family deserve, you got to stop accepting the status quo and doing what everybody else does. If you're not already living the lifestyle of your dreams, how much longer are you going to wait? Someday never comes unless you take action. I know that you were meant for every one of you. I know you were meant for a bigger life than the one you're living right now. I know you're frustrated and feel cheated. You ask yourself, has it all been worth it? You've taken on all the risks, the constant stress of running a practice. Where's the big payoff? When do you finally get rewarded the way you should be for all your hard work and sacrifice? I mean, is this it? Is this where you and your family are going to be stuck for the next 10, 20, 30 years? Forget about what you've tried in the past and been disappointed by. None of that matters anymore. Go ahead and click the button on the screen and do it now, because there are several hundred docs on this webinar. And obviously, there are only so many of these free Zoom sessions I can do. And remember also, if you want me to do it all for you, I can only provide turnkey service to one doctor per area. And one of your competitors could very well be on this webinar too. So click that button and reserve your spot now. Let's automate the entire new patient getting process for you, from suspect to prospect to satisfied client, in the easiest and fastest way imaginable. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. I'm looking forward to talking to you all soon. Dr. Rob McDermott. Have a great afternoon. Um, all right, well, I'm fucked. I'm out of business then. Hey, Sam, could you possibly do me a favor and log on to the webinar? I think there was a major problem. Hey, Sam, can I call you back in 2 seconds? I just realized what the problem was. Fuck. Hey, can you do me a favor? I think I just totally screwed. I did everything. I think I was on track to do the same thing, but I goofed up with the megaphone. Anyway, could you possibly log into the webinar? I'm on it now. Yeah. I kept the room live. Funny, some people thought the thing was pre-recorded. I don't know why. I want you to go in like you were somebody going into the webinar.